What's going on, everyone? What's up? So, quick Q&A session tonight, meaning we're going to talk a little bit. What's going on, Ivan? About yesterday and what was going to happen today, but I got really held up taking care of business with my family, hanging out and playing around. So, I got around trying to do some stuff, but I just couldn't accomplish everything I wanted to do today. So what I ended up doing today was I ended up painting the block. The block came out beautiful, nice and shiny. You can see over there the crank. I laid everything out ready to get assembled, and I decided to put some extra effort into cleaning the pistons, making sure there's no carbon buildup inside the ring slots. So we're doing all that today. So I decided again not to build the motor tonight, not to do the bottom end tonight, just because I want to make sure I have the time. My back is hurting from yesterday. Because I'm an old man. I got old man problems. Don't wear a diaper yet, though. Not that old. What's your question, Paul? So again, we're gonna hold back a little bit on building the 1.8 block, but we're gonna do it. It's gonna happen either tomorrow or Monday. I haven't decided yet. I gotta see how my back feels tomorrow and see if it's any better. So Tiny, get that way. What's up, fool? But the block again came out beautiful. I ended up cleaning up the oil pan. Came out pretty decent. Still gunky, but I mean, in comparison to what it was, I mean, it's night and day difference. I mean, honestly, just got all that junk off my hand. So we'll see how, like I said, how it ends up turning out tomorrow. All right, Tiny, ask the question. That's what we're here for tonight. It's a quick Q&A for about half an hour, 40 minutes. And then I'm going to call it quits tonight. I want to relax tonight and chill. Like I said, I've been pretty busy doing other stuff today. So getting orders done, by the way, for the contest. Contest is almost over. Monday, you're going to get spam like crazy for the contest. So just give me a heads up. Yeah, fool, I was yelling at you. This guy, I always yell at you. I love you, bro. You're the homie. Well, Paul, if you have a question, please ask. Right now is a good time to ask. But yeah, your console is actually, I found a better way of making it. The 3D print one I made for it ended up breaking in half super quick, Tiny. So I actually redesigned it, and it's coming out of my shop. We're gonna make it out of aluminum for you. We're gonna have all the hole cutouts for you as well. So just giving you that heads up as well. Okay. And it's gonna be held together with some clips that I designed with my 3D printer for you. So it's gonna be dope. I like turtles. How about you? Pollock? I mean, who doesn't? So you have a grinding noise when you decelerate in 6th gear. A grinding noise when you decelerate. Now, is it only in 6th gear, or is it in all gears, or just 6th gear when you decelerate? Because if it is just 6th, you have two possible scenarios. Your shift linkage could be going wonky. I just actually discovered my shift linkage was actually the bushings were ripped, so mine does grind from time to time, or your transmission is just on its way out. As well, I have a hard misfire when I restart the car while warm, goes away after about 5 seconds of driving. When's the last time you changed the spark plugs in that thing? How old are the coil packs? How old is the actual coil pack that's on there? I think that one has one coil pack instead of individual coils. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I worked on a 24 valve. But I would double check. What's going on, banging? But yesterday we were very, very successful with the head. Again, I was pretty happy with it. The end result was legit. So Ian got the valve cover smoothed and polished, so it's going to look freaking gorgeous on this head. Same with the nice satin block here that we got done. We're going to do I'm going to do some more cleaning on the yeah, more likely it's going to be a coil pack because it's just normal. Bad alignment will not cause the traction control light to kick on. I'm thinking it's a 6th or 5th gear tower bearing because it's only in 6th gear. Just rebuild the trans, new shift forks, and throw out slip. Well, it could be, but you only got shift forks. You never did you replace the synchros in the transmission at all? And if you did you use cheap Chinese parts or did you actually use German OEM parts, Paul? Because that does make a huge difference. Another thing is on the O2, I think it's an O2A is what you have, or an O2M. I can't remember. I think it's an O2M or O2H. I forgot what your transmission is, but the most common thing about those 6-speed transmissions is when they grind. Okay, so it just upgraded the forks. So when they grind, it could be a synchro, number one. Number two, you can have bad, the wrong gear oil. On Volkswagens, they require, I think, GLH built into it. So it has to have a very specific chemical. If not, they do shift harsh, or they cause premature synchro failure, which is actually very, very common. That is also true, Tiny. 6 speeds, I mean, in all honesty, are to me are like the automatics in manual transmissions. They are horrible transmissions. Cost a fortune to maintain, cost a fortune to own, and they have a lot of weird fun problems. But again, if you have the wrong gear oil, the wrong weight, it will cause that issue. Oh no, I'm not jealous. I got actually 2 of those transmissions sitting in my backyard. I don't care for them. I buy them and I keep them on the side because I was going to build one. And then when I put my effort into building one, a 5-speed was actually more reliable, cheaper, and had better parts that I can build for it. So parts were actually more abundant for the O2J. You know, it's just unfortunately the 6-speed transmissions in the Mark IV world are just not the best transmissions in all honesty. Um, I mean, they're not the worst, but they're just not the best. No, Mark IVs do not have steering wheel angles at all. It is old school, full on old school transmission, power steering system and steering on those cars. If you had a code for one, it probably wasn't for steering angle. It might have been for either power steering pressure, because that's all they have for sensor wise, is power steering pressure built into the power steering pump. You might have like a weird code for that, but that is it. There's no other sensor in that car for power for steering at all. They have ABS. Since they have 4-wheel ABS, it could probably throw you a generic code for that. But again, it will not throw a code for angle at all. That is not a thing. Yeah, more likely you damage a ABS sensor, or you might have ABS sensor might have moved out of its position or something, or might have been damaged. I would look around for that. That's super abnormal. I mean, I've actually driven my car, my Mark IV. I put new tie rods, and one wheel was legitimately like almost 10 degrees out, and it didn't even care. I mean, I fixed it after I drove it back, but yeah. No, there's no sensor on the power steering, the rack and pinion. Just to give you a heads up, there's no sensor on that rack and pinion. It's only on the pump. It's not like the Mark V's. Where they started converting into electronic power steering. So definitely not something. I don't know, man. You might have a generic code puller. I would definitely reference that code for something older and see what it means. But yeah, I mean, tonight's session is just to talk to you guys and see what's up. Tiny, I'm almost done with all your with your order for O2A is king. Yeah, king of the old cars. No, yeah, definitely. Thank you, Tiny, and good luck on the contest, because this contest is officially almost over. We're so close, so close. I don't have a final number with me right now. My wife takes care of that, but yeah, we're very close. I'm getting ready to build this thing. I'm excited. What's up, D Stone? Terry tried to turn over a 20 valve 128 by hand with the head on and the timing done. About half a turn, the VB tensioner moved and set the timing off on the chain for the cams. Any idea how to turn this thing? What do you mean the VBT turned? I don't understand what you mean by the VBT, because this is a VBT right here, and this will be under pressure as you crank it, but it will never lose its timing because the chains would lock the timing in position here. So this will never matter. So I don't know what you're trying to get at, trying to do. I would double check your timing separately on the head and on the block and make sure you're actually 100% timed. But I'm a little confused by what you mean, Trey. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, Tiny. That it might have failed on him. Oh, okay. So on the tensioner, I think I have a failed one right here. I was just cleaning up my garage, so there you go. Okay. Here's your tensioner. It sits like this on the head. So more likely this right here, the top one failed because this is the hydraulic one. The bottom one is also hydraulic, but this one does all the work. When there's oil pressure, this pushes up. When there's no oil pressure, this will kind of go down on its own, and it'll automatically tension based off of your RPMs or your oil pressure. So more than likely, Visual or Visual. What might have happened is that this failed on you, and if that failed, that will cause the timing to go off on your head, because this is all the way down and the chain just kind of lost its tension and jumped around. Pretty much is what happened. If you're gonna want to fix this, obviously you're gonna have to replace this tensioner. These tensioners are good for 80 to 100,000 miles. That's pretty much it. Yeah, the tensioner VR isn't hydraulic. It's manual. Well, not manual, but it's like a pulley style system. It's weird. It's a little different than this big old thing. But yeah, Trey, more likely this is what failed, the actual hydraulic portion. Like, as you can see, this came right out. Well, they're supposed to come out, but this one failed. Once it's actually under pressure, it just goes, it falls straight down. It's garbage. But I mean, it's an OEM one. So these things are, like I said, super reliable for a long time, but they do fail. And when they fail, they will cause issues with your head. They'll cause timing issues and stuff like that. So that's probably what happened. Hopefully that helped. So if you're gonna want to fix the timing on that, you're gonna need to buy a new one of these and take the cams off and swap it over. Pretty much on my DIY online, I mean, you saw how we installed everything. You just remove everything and do it. It's not gonna be that hard. When you get a new one of these, it also comes with a new gasket and everything, so it'll be everything that you need to get done. Trash. Just go bigger while you're at it. You can't get a bigger tensioner, fool. There's only one tensioner. This guy. I was asking to build a head or something like that. Yeah, cams on a 1.8T is honestly useless until you're over 400 horsepower. I mean, honestly, you're going to lose a lot more bottom end. A lot more bottom end. They're not really worth it again. The cams on these heads freaking flow amazing. It's just the head itself is what sucks on these motors. Oh, one thing I got that's pretty cool. So you guys can see this. We're going to learn how to do this. I had the shop do it for me, but I'm going to do it myself this time. Ian wanted again to have everything done in house or in my. I can't talk right now. I have it all done here, so he got this cool little tool. I'll show you guys this. It's really, really cool. It's a ring grinder. So what this does is it cuts piston rings. It's freaking dope. Okay, thanks for the help. I got a new one, but I guess it's a bad apple. Oh man, when did you get a new one though? Like, what brand did you get, Trey? Should it turn smoothly without moving up and down and cranking the motor? No, it's going to move up and down. Just so you know, it's going to move because there's no oil pressure in here. You need oil pressure to keep this up high. That's probably why it went down. You didn't have any oil pressure. It's probably fine. I thought you had this engine already assembled. You were just testing it. You didn't give me any of the details behind it, Trey. Yeah, dude, if you pop in a new one and you don't have oil in it, it's not going to hold its tension. It's going to fall straight down. There's no pressure. You got to give me the whole story, man. So this is cool. It's a little grinder. It's pretty dope. I put the little tool in here. It's got like a mount for a base, more likely. And you kind of grind it up. Yeah, so this right here is for a mount. Put it on a table, and then what you do is man, I wish a lot of you guys lived over here. Seriously. I get a lot of people who always want me to help them, but they're always out of state, man. I get no one locally except for Tiny, and Tiny's still far away. He doesn't even come over. Okay, I like your question. I really actually like your question right there, Mr. Tiny. If I could put a motor in Filbert, there you go. Cool little grinder. You put your piston rings in here, you squeeze them, and then. So yeah, dude, retime it manually, and then leave it alone. Leave it alone. Obviously, take the tensioner tool off. It should give you some tension on there and should give you the ability to crank the engine over. If this comes off of here, if the chain comes off of here, you probably had the cams on loose, and that's probably what caused them to wonk out. Because even with the tensioner pushed all the way down, you should be able to turn it. The only way that you would skip a link is if you did not have these counted correctly and you were off, and they were sagging down the middle. That's the only way that would happen, Trey. For Tiny's question, if I could have any motor in my Mark II or Filbert, what would it be? and why? My Mark II, I'm torn between two motors down the road. Exactly. Two motors. And they're very, very specific motors, too. The Mark V 2.5 liter. I know it's a weird engine, the 5-cylinder. The 5-cylinder engine from a Mark V turboed. Okay? If you guys have never heard a 2.5 liter turboed, you should stop watching this and go online and Google search that shit because it is glorious. And
I don't understand.
I know you don't. It is glorious, number one. Super, super reliable. It is pretty much the closest thing to a 2-point slow in reliability, in all honesty. The 2.5 liter, just doing rods and basic mods with the turbo kit, you make 300 plus wheel horsepower, and it's ridiculously amazing sounding. You don't understand. It's like a Ferrari almost. It's pretty weird. All right, Trey. Good luck. Okay. That'd be, like I said, that'd be my first engine of choice. My second engine of choice, it's a hard engine. That's cool, D-Stone. The next engine would be the ALH, the TDI motor that we have in the Mark IV right now. Believe it or not, that's cool. That's good, Vijuel, because that's otherwise in other people's cars. But the 1.9 liter TDI from 2001 Jetta, I kid you not, we just did injectors and a tune. We just got the tune back today, and I drove it. Holy crap. Holy crap, this car is a whole other experience of car. I mean, this engine has 180,000 miles on it. Nothing has ever been done to it. We just fixed the boost leaks and the EGR, and all we did again was a tune and injectors, and we got 110 more pounds of torque with, like, I think another 30 or 40 horsepower, and it's fun. It's a really fun car. I can only imagine if I did that engine in a Mark II with a bigger turbo and injectors and a tune, making, like, say 200, 220 horsepower, but like 300 plus pounds of torque, that thing would be ridiculous and fun. And a little diesel car, because people wouldn't even care. I'd drive up and be like, caw, 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 the noisiest little 4-cylinder road. I get 40, 50 miles to the gallon plus power. I mean, no brainer, complete no brainer. But again, oh, and it lasts more. It probably outlasts the car if it was a TDI motor too. Freaking gnat. But again, I mean, those would be my two car engines of choice if I ever got an opportunity to build. And again, I'm not a guy to build like ridiculously high horsepower cars. I'm one of those guys, 300, 400 horsepower is more than enough for me. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'd do all of that in the Mark II. I mean, I would do everything in it. like I have right now in my Mark II. It's got a new transmission. It's got a brand new suspension. Got a whole new lower chassis and rear end on my Mark II and the Corrado. It's got a brand new brake system that we just made for it, for the Corrado and for the Mark II. We actually converted both cars to manual steering. Oh yeah, dude, VRs are great. There's nothing wrong with the VR. There's nothing wrong. It's a great engine, phenomenal engine. Just tune and cam and exhaust, and you're happy little camper. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. Banging, if you're gonna go big, do the whole thing at once, man. Don't piece it together. If you're gonna piece it together, then go. How can I explain? Build your head, because it's all aluminum, and they're easier to store. I mean, this is it. You can put it on a shelf. Put it in a. What I would do is, like I said, soak it in assembly lube everywhere. Put it in a bag and put it on a shelf, and then you can worry about it later. And then the long block, since it is steel, cast iron, this will rust. So I would do that last. So I would probably focus on that at the end, because this will, like I said, you want this to rust on you. We've had this machine for about 2 months, and I saw a little rust started building up. So I grabbed some assembly lube and soaked all the pistons and all the main caps and bearings, just because I didn't want it to damage and get rusty on me. Just because, obviously, again, it all depends on your space situation. Okay. Hello from Greece. I just found your channel. What's your opinion on a Garrett GT2860R Gen 2? Buy it. Buy it in a heartbeat, man. That's a great turbo. That's a great turbo. Good for 250, 300 horsepower all day. You can probably make 350 pushing. More likely like pushing what we call it's a GTX. Never mind. That'll make 350, 450. On a stock engine, you'll be okay if you're on a low boost. I'd say 5 to 10 psi. That'll be making about 300 horsepower. Leave it alone from there. If you're going to go higher than that, you're going to have to build your engine. Okay, next question. When buying a new to you car, aside from maintenance, what's the best mod to start with? Oh, well, when you buy a new car, meaning, what do you mean by a new car? What car? I mean, there's 1,000 cars you can choose from. Some of them you don't even have to touch and they'll be fine. But it all depends on what matters to you the most. If performance matters to you the most, or what people think of you. In other words, what your car looks like. Me, I'm always, when I buy a car, I do everything. I do my stance, I do my build, I do everything before he even hits the road. You know? Okay, so Mark III or Mark IV? Well, if you got a Mark IV, if you got a 1.8T Mark IV, I mean, they're super, super easy to make them look good. Wheels and coilovers done. But if you're, again, it depends on who you are. I mean, there's people out there that are stance and that's it. I mean, they won't do anything to the car. For example, I mean, I bought my 2014 JSW for my wife, and only a week. I only owned it for a week, and I lowered it. I put it on springs. I got upgraded wheels. I got a tune. I did an intake. That's it. I actually bought a whole lip kit for it already, so I got a whole lip kit on it, and I got a full stereo system for it as well, and that's just sitting there. I mean, I buy everything that I can, that I know that's going to create, number one, comfort for me, and stuff that I know that my wife likes. So it's one of those things I got to really think about, you know, when you buy a new car. Like me, stock cars, I bought a TDI. They suck. They're honestly, they have no balls outside the stock, but tuned and a couple mods, they're phenomenal cars with performance. Redondo Beach, that's 100% wrong. In all honesty, when I buy a car, even a new car, I know what I'm getting myself into. I plan on what I'm going to buy, number one, before I even buy it. Number two, I plan on what I'm going to do to it before I even buy it. And I already have money set aside because I don't want the car the way I want it until I buy it. The way that you know you have the right car, the way that you know if you have the right car is you don't. There's no such thing as the right car. The right car is I guess to the eye of the beholder. I mean, look at me. I mean, the Mark IV has always been the right platform for me, but a Volkswagen bus makes me happier than my Mark IV. However, the Mark IV Jetta Outlander has given me hundreds of miles of smiles for almost no money. So, I mean, it all depends on what itch are you trying to scratch. You know, I guess that's more the best answer I can give you. Fanis, thanks a lot for the answer. I'll keep it in the low boost until I build the engine. Smart man. I'm thinking of deleting PCV EGR. Whatever problem using it. Yeah, you can't just delete them. You can't delete anything out of the car, honestly, without it being tuned out of the car. So if you're going to buy the bigger turbo, definitely, obviously, you're going to be upgrading your fueling. You're going to be upgrading your exhaust, your intake system. All that stuff. Because you need to accommodate for all those modifications. Redondo Beach 2. Let's say I buy a $40,000 car or GTI. Then sink in another $10,000 into it. Would you be better off to shop for a higher performance car with an MSRP of $50K? Well, no, because maybe I like the look of the $40,000 GTI versus, like, say, a $50,000 performance car, like a BMW Roadster or Alfa Romeo Roadster for that price point. I mean, Redondo Beach. It all depends, dude. I mean, every person is definitely very, very different in this scenario. Me, I'm the guy that says, hey, I got $40,000. I'm going to go buy a $500 car and throw $40,000 into it. Or buy a $500 car, put like $7,000 into it, and then go buy another $500 car and put another like $7,000 into it. I mean, I don't know, dude. It's a hard thing, you know. Yeah, I mean, price. I don't like new cars. That Mark VI, honestly, I dislike it so much. I'm actually looking for a Mark IV wagon, believe it or not. I'm actually hunting for a Mark IV wagon right now because I really don't like the Mark VI platform. You know, it's just such a difficult way to look at cars based off of money because, like, my dream car is the Alfa Romeo two-seater Roadster 2.0 turbo Roadster car. That's like $50,000. That's like my dream car, but I don't even care for it. I'd love it. If someone gave it to me, I'd be like, woo, for like a day. And then I'd be like, I'm going back to drive my Mark IV or my bus. You know, it's just because it's just an itch that it's going to satisfy, but it's not what I want. The car that I really want, that I will probably sink in an obscured amount of money into, would be a 58 to 62 Volkswagen Bug wide body. Like a wide body turboed. All right, you're welcome, Fanis. Have yourself a good one. A wide body, like turboed, air cooled engine, 200 horsepower, air cooled engine, turboed, like OEM paint job on it, like nothing fancy. 100% OEM interior with like harness with 3-point harnesses in it, and that's it. It's a death machine, but that would be like my dream car. I just want to pull up to somebody and be like, wheelie, and just pull off on them with 200 horsepower on a freaking 1,000-pound car, you know? Things like that. That right there would be like the epitome of all my dreams. And in all honesty, if someone came up to me and offered me a decent condition, not a great condition, a decent condition car for my Mark IV, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would honestly trade my Mark IV and trailer for an old Bug, like a decent condition. No rust. The paint job can be falling off, but no rust and running. I would trade it. I honestly would trade it. You know, but it has to be a 50s, early 60s, big bumper Bug. I don't care if it's oval, non-oval, round window. I just big bumpers for me. Yeah. Thank you, Stancy. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Yeah, no, I would put it out on Craigslist, but my wife will be mad at me. That's the problem. Because she loves that Mark IV, and I won't. And I'm just one of those guys that I can't get rid of cars. I can't. It's hard. That's why I own so many of them. It's so hard. Tiny, I feel that it's because of all the blood, all the time, blood, sweat, and tears put in these buckets that makes them special. I agree 100%. Yep. Vijuel, yes, I am in California, sir, in Escondido, California, to be exact. Alessandro, say, hey, Al, I got an MK4 with a 88,000. Wow, you got an MK4 under 100,000 miles? Holy crap. Doing basic maintenance. Want to know if I'm doing engine flush is a good idea or a bad idea. Don't do it. Don't do an engine flush. Just leave it alone. Right? I got nothing wrong with Mark IVs. They're my passionate car, man. You guys saw what I did to the engine bay. I freaking cleaned the crap out of that bay. That thing's just ready for car shows, you know. Although the body needs some work. Its paint job is showing its age already. You know, I only painted 2 years ago, but it's not a good paint job. Definitely regret cheaping out my paint job, but nah, down the road. Thank you, What a Spick. I appreciate that, sir. I learned actually a couple new things about Mark IV engine bays this time around, so I was able to do some pretty cool stuff. Unfortunately, nothing that I filmed, but maybe next time. Redondo Beach, you can always just go on Facebook and share stuff to me. I love seeing other people's builds, like no tomorrow. Awesome, Stancy. That's freaking cool. I agree. Mark IV has one of the best looking bodies. However, the Mark II, hands down, the Mark II has the best European sporty car look, period, for its age. If you put a Mark IV and a Mark II together, people are going to pay more attention to the two, especially if it's done right. Oh my God. You don't have no idea. Yeah, you can get rid of those. The blue balls, those are easy to get rid of. Yeah, you can just yank those suckers out. Yank those blue balls out. You know? Just moved from CT to Florida 5 days ago and transport my car on a moving truck causes. Couldn't part ways with it. I didn't get rid of my other Mark IV to even. It ran great, junked it. Yeah, the MK2 as well. I want a truck. Who doesn't want a caddy? Let me see if I can get these out for you. Give me a second. Damage this. Ooh, do not want to damage this. Tiny's other question is rep wheels or real wheels? To me, it just depends on what you can afford, in all honesty. I mean, I'm a fan of real wheels and real cheap to begin with. These are real wheels. These are my Mark II wheels. They're 16s and they're Gaudis. These are one of my favorite wheels because they have a very basic look and the barrels are ultra light. You see that? These I legitimately, I think they weigh like 10 pounds. The face weighs more. The face on these weighs more than the wheels. No, I'm not going to trade you. I love these wheels. They're 16 by 9 square. They have the perfect offset to attach adapters on the Mark II. And again, they're 9.5 inches wide, which is exactly what I asked for a wheel that I want on a Mark II. I want an ultra wide stance on a Mark II, just because I'm going to be throwing 400 horsepower on a Mark II. I'm going to need traction. I'm going to need some real traction. And this isn't the color I'm going with. We're actually going to polish the faces on these. I'm not a big fan of OEM, like the original Gaudi look. Not a big fan of them, but a good friend of mine gave these to me. Yes, gave them to me. There we go. I don't always see it down, but I just can see that's a dope looking wheel. What tires are going to be running a 9.5? I'm probably going to be running a 225 40 or 225 35 on this. I want to get an actually meaty tire. I'm probably not even going to stretch the tires on this, honestly. I'm probably just going to go with a lower sidewall versus stretching the tire. I'm trying to go more performance based on this Mark II. So I want the tires not to have any type of crazy stretch on them. Maybe a minimal, but not crazy. Wheel 25, what's the condition of the 20th? So yeah, I got to work on the other wheels. I'm going to try to pretty much get the wheels to this condition, because this one is actually, as you can see, it's really nice. But the other ones are a whole different story. Here's this face. Here's the face on this one. You can see that. It's pretty beat up. This is actually the factory face on this. Actually, this has the original coating on it, versus the other one actually doesn't. That's why it's anodized. That's you can see the material is really shiny, metallic. It's not plated, but it's anodized paint, so, or powder coating. So you'll know this is like authentic wheel. But I don't want them this color. The barrels are just as bad, or actually worse. Here's one of the barrels. No body damage, just a scratch on the bumper. The guy just did a timing belt too. Well, let's see. We're gonna here's this one, and the difference between this barrel and that barrel is that these have the more aggressive lip on here, which is a little annoying. But I think we'd be able to polish these. I'm going to soak them with the paint stripper because I think they're chrome plated. Yeah, these have chrome plating on the back, the original ones. But I think they were stripped because this does not look like chrome on here at all. So yeah, we're going to actually rebuild these this week. We're going to learn how to strip the paint. We're going to clean them up like they were brand new. And then we're going to rebuild them with new hardware. We're going to take the faces to my buddy's powder coating shop, and we're going to have these stripped and powder coated to a new color. Or we're going to have them polished, one or the other. But I will be doing the barrels myself. We're going to be doing hidden caps. We're going to be doing spiked and standard 6-sided hardware for this. The only issue that we came across that I've noticed here versus that, these have been drilled out. Yeah. So I have to figure that out too. I have to run bigger hardware. But yeah, definitely a wheel that I'm going to get rebuilt completely. And this will be the Mark II wheels on my wife's Mark II. I'm really excited for these. So I hope you guys can follow me on this DIY. We're going to be filming this one when we build these. We're not going to do a live stream for that. That's just super time consuming. So I do have to go, call it a night, but I appreciate everybody here coming in tonight and talking and having fun. But again, for your condition of the for Will for the 20th, if it has no body damage and it just has a timing belt, just make sure there's no other issues with the car. $4,500 is a very fair price for a 20th anniversary. Just make sure the condition is what it is. If you can lowball them, definitely try to go lower. Honestly, $4,000 is probably the most I would ever pay for a Mark IV ever. So definitely keep that in mind. I would definitely check all the electronics in the car, make sure everything's working, and find out if it's an authentic 20th anniversary. Make sure it has the matching serial number on the steering wheel and on the cup holder. Okay, it's the only way you'll know. And because the VIN number, there is a library online to track the VIN numbers to make sure it's an authentic 20th anniversary and if it's been registered as an authentic 20th anniversary. So there are websites that research that. Okay, before you throw your money away and you bought a standard GTI with just 20th parts, because that does happen a lot. If you pull up your VIN number on the DMV, it will say it's the 20th anniversary. It will not say or 337. They always show up like that in the system. That doesn't mean that they're 337s or 20ths. You have to make sure that the VIN number was registered in the 20th anniversary registry. There is a specific one by Volkswagen for that. Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful night. Again, we're going to see if we're going to build this block probably tomorrow or Monday. It just depends on how my back is going to be acting up this week. But definitely, I appreciate you guys learning with us, Deep Fabs. Again, if you do guys like this channel a lot, please go to my online store, buy a sticker, pick up some merchandise. It helps us a lot, especially in these harder times right now. Actually, I'm not working currently right now, but if you guys can, definitely please head up to our online store, and it does help. Helps a lot for us. All right. All right, guys. Have yourself a wonderful night, and peace out. And as always, if you see another fellow Dubber on the road, please give us a thumbs up or some peace sign, because we're gonna respect one another, because we're all human and we all should respect one another. And as always, here at PTL's Garage, we're gonna break, fix, and repeat. Peace out.